Okay, maybe it wasn't a perfect night in Vancouver, as Ray Ferraro dubbed on the broadcast, and as I am dubbing in the thumbnail of this video, but the Vancouver Canucks are now second in the NHL. Isolated, right there. I don't want to hear nothing about points percentage. Thomas Drance can get out of here, but 41 points in 23-24. 4 points behind the Vegas Golden Knights, 1 point above the Boston Bruins. Vancouver is second in the league, and it comes to us on what is pretty much a storybook type of game here against the Florida Panthers. Now, the big story heading into this was the fact that Vancouver had themselves a Roberto Luongo tribute for the ages. Lou was being raised up into the Ring of Honor, not in the rafters. You could debate about that in the comment section as to whether or not you felt that was the appropriate decision. But his name, his plaque, his beautiful mug is all right there in the Ring of Honor. And the celebration beforehand was just awesome. The throwback music, you saw U2, The Streets Have No Name, and Holiday, Green Day going out there blasting on the speakers. Of course, the video tribute done by Kevin Bieksa, the narration at least, was awesome. Roberto Luongo, the speech was awesome. And then the Sedins, Corey Schneider, all there too, just to take in and celebrate the career that was and the 8 years that Bobby Lou spent as the best goaltender in Vancouver Canucks history. But of course, because this is a night celebrating a goaltender, it is great that going up against Bobby Lou's other heart and soul team, the Florida Panthers, Thatcher Demko posts himself, what is it, his third shutout of the year? Thatcher Demko makes 36 saves on 36 shots against as the Vancouver Canucks beat the Florida Panthers 4-0. Now, you could look at the goals, you could look at the shots, you could say, wait a minute, what happened here? Vancouver wins 4-0, but they only have 18 shots to Florida's 36. Vancouver literally got doubled in shots tonight, yet they win 4-0? What's up with that? And if you look at the Money Puck deserve to win-o-meter from tonight, they actually say that Vancouver should have had like a 56% chance of winning this game, which matches up pretty well with the eye test, because if you had seen just what was going on here, I mean, the Canucks had limited shots on goal, yes, but some of these shots were just so good. Point blank, just right in front, capitalizing off of opportunities, and then you had yourselves, the Florida Panthers, just kind of chucking pucks around from everywhere. Now, sure, the Panthers had their chances. They had a few pucks that went through the crease. Matthew Tkachuk going through the legs twice, ended up not going through Thatcher Demko. But for the most part, the Vancouver Canucks did a really good job at shutting down the Florida Panthers and their offense. We know that some of these guys, like Matthew Tkachuk, for example, have been on sort of a slump the past few weeks, but either way, this Florida Panthers team got nothing, and in the odd times they did get something, Thatcher Demko was out there to stand tall, in a very Roberto Luongo-like way. Kicking things off, though, in this game, the first 3 minutes sees ourselves a goal scored by Andrei Kuzmenko, and it is a brilliant play done by Connor Garland to facilitate it all. Garland is on the forecheck, he is causing some havoc with the Panthers trying to break the puck out, and eventually at the Panthers' blue line, Connor Garland ends up freeing the puck and kicking it forward for Andrei Kuzmenko to pounce on it, run right in, just get inside and force himself onto the goaltender. He goes far side top right on Sergei Bobrovsky, giving the Canucks the 1-0 goal. There's back-to-back games with goals for Andrei Kuzmenko, and it gives Vancouver the lead here. Brilliant, brilliant play. The Canucks then continue their dominance 9 minutes later as you have Dakota Joshua scoring himself his first of 2 tonight and his 5th and 6th of the season. This first goal was a really nice one where he takes the puck in front of the goaltender, does a nice spinorama move, and tries to get it through on the backhand. It gets denied by the pads of Bobrovsky, but on the rebound, Joshua's right there to just lift it up and over, getting it right through, giving the Canucks that 2-0 lead. Dakota Joshua has been an absolute gem the past little while here. All the hits, all the blocks, and in this game he scores 2 goals on top of that. I'll tell you, the folks on fantasy hockey forums were going crazy about Dakota Joshua's night. At the end of the first period, though, this is where the Panthers, I feel, got the majority of their high-danger chances. Like, if you look at the heat map and you see just what the Panthers were doing, they had a really good stretch for, like, the last minute or two of the first period, where they just kept on going on and on and on with the pressure, but Demko kept on making the saves, keeping it down 2-0 as the period ends off. Second period comes along, we have ourselves a few power plays. We'll get to the power plays for Vancouver as the video goes on, but the Canucks get themselves the first penalty of the game. It is taken by Nikita Zadorov, interference against Kulikov. They kill it off, the Panthers don't look all too great, and then Florida gives up an absolute dookie. The puck gets dumped in and Sergei Bobrovsky leaves his crease to try to play the puck up forward. He is in front of the trapezoid, in front of the goal line. And instead of sending the puck to the two defensemen that were on his left and right, he ends up throwing it right at the middle. Dakota Joshua is there. He picks it off. Open net to shoot at. He scores. Probably the easiest goal of his life. Sergei Bobrovsky, what the hell was that? I cannot go out there and, like, even try to think about what was going on, because the camera that was behind the net, the camera that showcased what Bobrovsky was seeing, like, the guy that he was trying to pass to was so far away, and, like, there were a bunch of Canucks swarming the zone, so it was a really dangerous pass, even if it hadn't gotten intercepted by Dakota Joshua. But he's right there, perfect place, perfect time, he gets it, it's 3-0 Vancouver. And things don't get any better for Florida as Brandon Montour and Kevin Stenlund each take penalties 13 seconds apart, giving the Vancouver Canucks a 5-on-3 power play. This is where we're hoping the Canucks can seal the deal, and that's exactly what they do. Pettersson goes across to Miller. Miller takes the walk right in and he shoots it on goal. Just kidding, it's a pass right to Brock Boeser, who tips it off the post. The rebound is right there behind Bobrovsky and Boeser is there to pot it in. It's a power play marker, Boeser from Miller and Petey. Boeser has 22 goals on the NHL season so far, and he is one behind Austin Matthews because that guy decided to pop off today against the Columbus Blue Jackets in that huge 5-5 comeback defeat. This is also the final goal of the game. Vancouver does not get any more offense in the third. The Panthers had themselves a few extra power plays, as did Vancouver, but for the most part, the Canucks just kind of played shutdown hockey. Even on the heat maps, you could see that Florida just kind of kept going in the third period. I definitely commend them for not giving up and not playing lackadaisically in that third. They were still trying to get their points, and for the most part, Thatcher Demko just stood tall. You didn't have Sergei Bobrovsky in net anymore either in the third period. It was changed over to Anthony Stolarz because, I mean, look, there was not really much confidence inspired from Bobrovsky's night tonight, considering the fact that he allowed 4 goals on, what was that, 17 shots against? Yeah, not a great save percentage here for Bobrovsky. The Canucks, though, have themselves 1 shot on goal in the third period to Florida's 15. Stolarz had to make 1 save, and that was it. But either way, I mean, even though the Canucks got severely outshot in this one, in the third and in the game in general, they still had the better chances, better odds, better deserve-to-win-o-meter metric, and that kind of speaks to how well the Canucks were able to clog down the middle and force Florida to take bad shots. It pays off in the end. It's a team strategy. Sure, you didn't get as many points as you would have wanted to out of some of these guys. No points from Hughes tonight. Only 1 assist from Petey. He looked pretty frustrated throughout this game, not gonna lie. But this game still has the cherry on top as a Thatcher Demko shutout on Roberto Luongo night. Boeser is getting up there in goals still. Vancouver is second in the NHL. Kuzmenko is coming back. Connor Garland is playing really well. There's just so much good about this. Pia Suter came back too. Yeah, did we mention that yet? No, we didn't. He looked really good in this game. Still adding that element of speed and sort of sneaky skill to his offensive repertoire that I don't think many people have caught on to yet, especially those who are not watching Canucks games. So let me know your thoughts on the Vancouver Canucks beating the Florida Panthers 4-0 on Roberto Luongo night. To end this video off, I guess we could say, I don't know, what's going on with Luongo? What are some extra things in there? I'll tell you this, the very first video I made on this YouTube channel that went over quote-unquote hockey news rather than just like, you know, videos on my video games, it was about the Roberto Luongo trade all the way back in 2014. That was it. March 9th, 2014, that was almost a decade ago. I was in, what was that, grade 8 it should have been? Science class. One of my friends went up to me in class and said, hey, Luongo got traded. And I was like, really? No, he didn't. Like, that's not real. And then I went back home on my computer and it was like, yeah, he did get traded. And we made a video about that. That was the very first time I made a video on YouTube commentating about real hockey news. And I made the switch shortly after from making full-time video game related content to discussion on the sport. And now, 9 years later, here we are. Still doing the same thing and living a lot better for it. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about Roberto Luongo night, the Canucks winning 4-0 and Demko getting the shutout. I hope you enjoyed this. And bye.